Hello, folks. Welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. Who didn't see this one coming? Well, you can see this a mile off. It's a betrayal. The Mkhonto weSizwe Party opens a treason case against AfriForum, the civil rights organization that stands up for South Africans, including Black South Africans. An act of economic sabotage. MK Party lays charges of high treason against AfriForum, that appearing in News 24. MK Party supporters and military fatigue sang and clapped outside Cape Town Central Police Station as party deputy leader John Schlope and MP Mzwanele Manyi made their way inside. The MK apparently opened up a case of treason against AfriForum on Monday. How does a private citizen bring treason case against another citizen? Only the state can do that, no? As the group faces mounting backlash over spreading misinformation about land and race policies, resulting in President Trump cutting off aid to South Africa. Well, connecting AfriForum's statements and actions to what President Trump did is only the work that a Mampara could be involved in. A complete fool. The AfriForum had nothing to do with this whatsoever. It's comical to see people blame them. Instead of blaming the government that passed the law which strips citizens of their property without compensation, whether they're black, brown, or white, MK, in its typical race hustling fashion, has targeted a boogeyman, AfriForum. Former Western Cape judge and incumbent MK Deputy President John Schlope told journalists that the party vehemently condemned the treasonous actions of AfriForum, which has deliberately lobbied foreign powers to act against the sovereignty and economic interests of South Africa. Except that that's total 100%. AfriForum has lobbied the United States not to remove South Africa from AGOA. MK has done nothing to ensure that South Africa remains a participant in the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, but AfriForum has put a lot of effort and energy into that. So a complete lie, a misrepresentation, and nothing but blatant race hustling. Their betrayal is nothing less than an act of economic sabotage, a direct assault on our nation's independence, and a dangerous attempt to undermine the will of the people. The problem with that nonsense from the MK is that what has the United States done to South Africa? Jack squat. Has the United States imposed sanctions on South Africa? No. Has the United States sanctioned any of the leaders of the government? No. Has the United States even removed South Africa from the overly generous Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, a privilege for duty-free access to the marketplace that South Africa is ineligible for, yet you're still participating in it? So what harm has been done to South Africa? The actions of the government of South Africa over Gaza, over Myanmar, over Iran, Cuba, Russia, Ukraine, China, in opposing the United States at every turn and insulting the United States repeatedly, the Lady R incident, the list goes on and on and on. This isn't about AfriForum. This is a party looking for attention, peddling racist lies. Shame on you, MK. And they say AfriForum has a long and disgraceful history of opposing South Africa's democratic transformation, shielding the racist economic interest of the privileged European settler elite while disregarding the suffering of the oppressed majority. Now, that entire statement is nothing but pure racism. The European settler elite? What settlers? There may be a few thousand Europeans who settled in South Africa, but the vast majority of South Africans of European origin are South Africans. They are South African citizens by birth, and many of them going back 350 years. You haven't got much of a lead on them, MK. Your folks crossed the Zambezi 1600 years ago. So stop the nonsense. Shielding the racist economic interest. Really, racist economic interest. Now, if democratic transformation means enriching a cadre of black elite nouveau riche with patronage by the ANC, then I imagine people would oppose democratic transformation because it's not transformation, it's enriching the privileged and connected. The latest act of treachery, lobbying the U.S. government to impose punitive economic sanctions on South Africa, is a deliberate attempt to weaken our state through external pressure. Well, that's just total horse manure. They didn't lobby the United States to weaken South Africa. And the only thing that has fallen South Africa's way is the United States, which is $2 trillion in debt in our budget last year, a $7.4 trillion budget, $2 trillion of which we didn't have. We borrowed to continue operations. Those operations included giving South Africa $500 million, to which you're not eligible for anymore. So the gravy train is over. No one's punishing you, and AfriForum did nothing against South African interests. This is a racially motivated, sick, twisted, shameful act on the part of MK. But what do you expect from political parties in South Africa except grandstanding? And on a side note, apparently the Democratic Alliance has finally filed a court case against the expropriation without compensation law. Took them long enough, didn't it? January 23rd, 3 weeks. Seems to me they did it because they're under pressure. Maybe they did it because they really believe it's wrong. We shall see. But our Mampara of the hour, of the day, of the week is the Mkhonto we Sizwe Party. A bunch of frauds who act like they're the actual veterans of the Bush War. Almost none of these people served. What a joke. What say you, South Africa? Cheers.